Hey my glam girls, welcome back to my channel. It's Chelsea, where we talk about all things glam and all things girly. I'm a beauty consultant and today we are talking about Gucci's new formulated foundation. I cannot wait to share with you all of my thoughts about this foundation. Of course, we will be doing a full day wear test, and if you're new to my channel, my full day wear tests are going to consist of showing you what the foundation looks like in my studio lighting, natural lighting. I will be wearing it for a minimum of 8 hours, and then I will share with you my thoughts at the end of the day. So stay tuned for all of that. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I do truly appreciate it. I know we all say that, but I really do appreciate it. And if you are new to my channel, I would love for you to click that subscribe button, join the Glam Girl Squad, and let's get right into this video. So, I absolutely adored the first foundation that Gucci came out with a few years ago, 2 or 3 years ago at this point. I loved it. It was in my favorites of that year. And I actually just recently decluttered it literally this past December, like December of 2022, because I wanted to get a newer shade. Little did I know that they were going to actually discontinue that foundation completely. Like, it's not anymore on Sephora's website. It might still be on Gucci's website, but when I went into Sephora to actually pick up this foundation, it wasn't there anymore. So I was like, okay, well, moving on to the next one. Just to give you some quick high points about this foundation, this is the outer packaging of it. It is different from the original foundation because this cap is like a really pale green color, which I absolutely adore. The original foundation had a light pastel pink color. This one does retail for $69. It comes in 40 shades, and I picked up the shade 310N. And 310N is going to be medium with neutral undertones. It actually fits my complexion so well. We get a total of 1 fluid ounce or 30 milliliters of product. And if you're someone who likes to look at the packaging of boxes, the outer packaging for the box looks like so, kind of on trend or on par with Gucci's other type of packaging. Looking at the shade range for this foundation, I do think it's a really pretty good shade range. We've got like a nice, if I could say, array of complexions. There's warm undertones, neutral, and cooler undertones. And I really do like that the deepest shade does run very, very deep. So very happy to see a nice range of complexions in this foundation. Okay, this foundation is going to be an up to 24-hour foundation with a luminous matte finish and full coverage in 1 drop. I was like, really? 1 drop? Let's see. High points of the foundation are going to be that it's infused with hyaluronic acid, it's long wearing, it's a liquid formula, it's going to give you full finish, and then we have this luminous matte finish, which I was quite intrigued about. Because a lot of times when I hear luminous matte, I think this is about to be matte, and they're just trying to say it's luminous matte, but it's not. Okay, so it's going to also have bamboo powder in it that's going to help to absorb your shine all day long. And then it's combining high affinity skin powders and coated pigments with a high performance polymer technology that lets the skin breathe, and then it will give you that 24 hours of wear. It's gonna stay on all day without budging or fading. It's also gonna be mask proof and sweat proof. So putting this on my skin, I was just like, let's go. Like, because I have very high hopes for this foundation because of how much I love the original formulation. Now this foundation, I blended it into the skin with the new Rose & Bend C42 brush. And let me just pause for a minute to say this brush, I mean, if you love the C41 brush, oh, the C42 brush is even better. And I did not think they could do better, but they did, okay? I need like 4 of these, okay? So pressed the foundation into the skin, blended it in. I felt like it really like synced well into my skin. I also feel like this formula is also lightweight, much lighter in weight than the original formulation. That was something else that I did not like about the original formulation that I got over because I love the finish that much, but I did feel that the original foundation was thicker. It also was a little heavier on the skin. This formulation is going to be thinner, and I feel like it definitely does sink into the skin, especially if you're blending it with pressing motions, which I would honestly recommend. Press it into the skin, do not swipe. With pressing it into the skin, I put 1 drop on the back of my hand, and then I took what was on the back of my hand and just kind of blended it into the skin a little bit, or applied it to my skin first that way, then pressed it. I definitely think we get full coverage, I would say, from 1 drop. I think it was true because I didn't even use all that was on the back of my hand on this side of my face, and you can barely see my freckles. And my freckles are pretty pigmented. You can like barely see them coming through, but if I were from a distance, you might not even know that I had freckles. So I would definitely say this is going to be full coverage out of the gate. And if you did not want full coverage, definitely don't go in with a full pump. Use like maybe half a pump if you can, and try to use that all over the face for less coverage. But honey, the coverage came to play. Also, can we talk about this pored less skin? Pored less skin. I definitely said pored less skin. So my pores are like non-existent, and I don't have the biggest pores, but I have pores just like anybody else. And I typically don't go in for a pore filling primer, but I will if I really want like that refined kind of flawless skin. You don't need it with this foundation at all. My assumption is that polymer blurring technology that they're using with the powders that are infused with the foundation really do help the skin look absolutely flawless. And I'm gonna come in close so you can see, because y'all know I like for you all to make your own choice about what you think about what I'm saying in the product. And usually my pores are gonna be right along here, and they're also right along here on my forehead. Yo, like, I didn't use any primer today. I did set my under eyes and like right along here with some powder, because that's where I apply concealer. I tried to make sure that I didn't like dust that powder too much over my pores, because I really wanted just the foundation to be there. I also did apply some blush today, but I kept the blush just a little higher up, once again to not hit this area where my pores are, so we could really see what the foundation is doing. I've been wearing this foundation now for, let's see, 3 hours. And this joker is sitting real pretty, like really pretty on the skin. Still feels very lightweight 3 hours in, and I'm really liking how everything is looking. Now, I did take this out so we could see it in natural lighting, and I thought it looked really beautiful, like initial application, natural lighting, it looked great. Took it outside into sunlight, and it's just, oh, this foundation is so pretty, y'all. Even though it's really erring on the side of full coverage, I mean very full coverage, it looks so pretty. Not gonna throw natural in there because it does look like I'm wearing foundation, and I typically do like for foundations to lean more toward the medium side of the spectrum, but it doesn't look heavy and cakey. And for that reason, I can get with a full coverage foundation that looks like this. Like, this could be a foundation that if I wanted this type of look every day, I would go for, simply because it feels lightweight. And so far, 3 hours in, it's looking lighter against the skin, meaning that it's not looking cakey and heavy and just like I packed on a bunch of makeup. Took it into dark light so we could do a flash photography test. There is no flashback, but did y'all see the way that light bounced off of like my T-zone? At this point in the process, I had only applied the foundation. I did put on a liquid highlighter like right here, because I was testing out 2 new liquid highlighters, and I just put them like right here. I didn't put a lot. I put nothing in my T-zone, and I felt like light really bounced off of this foundation, which made me go like, maybe this is a luminous matte foundation, and they're just not putting these 2 words together to try to make us think it's luminous and matte. I was very, very impressed with that flashback test, and I was like, I'm here for this foundation. This foundation is stunning. I'm really excited to see what this looks like as we progress throughout the rest of the day, because I have high hopes. Maybe I shouldn't, but I do. I do have a nice fine line right along here that foundation is always gonna settle into. As of right now, we have like really no settling. I've got some fine lines right here that foundation usually does not settle into, so I'll always be checking these 2 areas to see, did the settling get worse, stay the same, did it, you know, what is it doing, you know? And I mean, I think it's just, I mean, it's really, really pretty, and I really do feel like light is reflecting off of it. Like, even as I'm looking at my face in my mirror far away, and this is why I keep moving to the side, because I like to see what y'all are seeing like from a distance, I feel like light is really bouncing off of my face. For my under eye concealer, I went in with the Dior Backstage concealer. I love this concealer. It's shade 3W. This concealer does have more of a matte finish, so this is not like, we aren't getting reflection of light from this concealer because it's not a light reflecting type of concealer. I went in with a matte powder to set my under eye area. So Danessa Myricks Evolution Powder in shade 01. This is also just a matte powder. There's no light reflecting properties in it. I did spray my face with the Ashunta Sharif Beauty Water Fix It spray. This is not a luminous spray or anything like that. So everything that I used today, like right here where we're seeing all this light reflection, it has to be the foundation, because there was nothing that I used today that I feel would have given us more of this like bouncing of light. The liquid highlighters that I added, I put right along here. So once again, so nothing like along the center of my face that would make me go like, oh, that's this product and not the foundation. Y'all, I'm loving the way this is looking. I do have like a little acne breakout right along here, and I like that it blended over it quite nicely. I feel like you can still see it through the foundation, but it did cover it very well. So definitely would agree with the claims that you're getting full coverage out of the gate. But I also feel like if you use less of this foundation all over your face, then you can definitely sheer out the coverage. You could also mix it with a liquid highlighter. You could mix it with your moisturizer if you want the benefits of this type of foundation, but you don't want it to be as full coverage. So there's a few ways that you can tweak the foundation so the coverage can be sheared out maybe towards your liking. But definitely do really enjoy how things are looking. So I'm gonna go about my day. We're gonna wear this for at least another 5 hours, and then I will check in at the end of the day to share with you my final thoughts. So stay tuned for all of that. We are back. It is the end of the day, and I've had this foundation on now for over 9 hours. So a nice full day wear test. So let's come in close and see what we're looking like. Okay, so straight off, I noticed that I do have some oils breaking through around my nose, like right in this area. And I typically don't produce a lot of oils throughout the day, but if I am gonna produce oils, I will produce oils there. I have noticed that when a foundation tends to be too matte for my skin, or if I did not properly hydrate my skin before applying a more matte foundation, I will produce oils right along here. And the reasoning behind it is if your skin does not feel like it's properly hydrated, it's gonna cause your oil glands to produce more oils to further hydrate the skin. So in this case, I don't feel like my skin feels dry. I don't feel like my skin feels tight or anything. As a matter of fact, I still feel like I'm not really wearing anything at all. This feels very lightweight. However, with the production of oils around my nose, for the next time that I go in with this foundation, I will go in with a hydrating primer like my Yummy Glow Serum. Another one that I would love to use with this foundation to see how it liked it would be the Pat McGrath Rose Essence. Oh my God, y'all, when I say I love that, love that. However, like I said, my skin does not feel tight or dry or like parched, but it's just something that I noticed. And being that this is a more luminous matte foundation, I do wanna call out the things that my mind is kind of thinking through. Now let's come back in and look at these pores, okay? So typically I'll have pores right along here and right along here, all along my forehead. Y'all, the pores are still blurred over 9.5 hours later. I think the skin overall still looks amazing and flawless. I'm looking at my mirror from afar. I really like how everything is looking. And I was looking at my smile line right here. I mean, we barely see hardly any settling, nothing to where I feel like that smile line is like over accentuated. Coming in on this smile line here, let me look down and see. I don't really see anything else. I don't see any additional settling in these fine lines right here. I also don't feel like the foundation has moved or worn away from any part of my face. I still see bronzer, I still see blush. And I wasn't touching my face too much today, but I did eat. And I still feel like things look great. I mean, I am taken aback this is so much better than the original formulation, because with the original formulation, the biggest difference that I noticed between this one and the older one is it felt heavy. It felt like I was wearing foundation. This one does not feel that way. I definitely did produce that same kind of like oiliness around my nose because that one did feel heavy on my skin. So, but I still love the coverage of it, and so I still wore it. But if I wanted something more sheer or more of like a nice medium type of coverage, I wouldn't reach for the older formulation because the formula itself was thick. Like I remember like I would put it on the back of my hand and that joker just stayed right there in that same spot. This one actually has a little run to it. So let me show y'all what I mean by that. As you can see, it is sliding down my hand. So you do see that it does have a nice thinner consistency to it compared to the older formulation. I also don't feel like this shade oxidized throughout the day. I'm looking at my skin and I really liked the way that this foundation matched my neck. As a matter of fact, when I went to Sephora to try this on in store, I matched it on my neck because my neck tends to be a little more deep than my actual face. So I matched it to my neck and I don't feel like my face overall looks much more deep than my neck. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to just touch up around my nose to see how this touches up. From what I can just guess, I feel like I can touch up and literally go a whole nother like maybe 8 hours with this. And it is claiming 24 hours. And we've been in this for over 9 hours. So I mean, if I were gonna be up for another 8 hours, I feel like we could potentially carry on, because really outside of my nose, nothing else is showing wear, tear, or anything else. And I'm going in with Danessa Myricks Evolution Powder, shade 01. I'm using a Wayne Goss, this is the 03 brush, and just doing a light dusting. And I mean, I think we are good to go. Let me just freshen up. Like I would Assured Cherie Beauty. This is her Beauty Water Fix-It Spray. If I really had to continue on with my day, this is literally what I would do. Touch up the lipstick and be out the door. And I think this looks amazing. This looks amazing. Straight off, I give this 10 out of 10 because for me, I don't mind the touch up because the touch up is quite minimal, and like I could easily do that on the go, or if I didn't want to touch up at all and I just wanted to kind of blot a little bit, I feel like I could have done that and kept it moving. So I think this wears extremely well. Like I said, granted, I didn't have it on for 24 hours, but if I wanted to wear this for 24 hours, if I needed 24 hours worth of wear of a foundation, I would actually reach for this one because I mean, just based off how I'm looking right now, I think I could go very strong for another 6+ hours with the way things are looking. Like I said, I feel like the formula is quite lightweight and it doesn't feel like I have foundation on my skin, which I think is really important. And I also think it's quite fascinating being that this is such a full coverage foundation with just one drop like they're claiming to be. I really like how smooth and refined my skin looks. And even with my texture that I have like over here and texture that I have over here, I feel like everything is just laying so nicely over the texture. Nothing is accentuated. I have a little acne bump right here and it is not peeking through. And you know, acne bumps be like fighting through the foundation. You know, like I don't care how full coverage the foundation claims to be, like an acne bump can find its way through and like you can see the white of it at the end of the day. We're not seeing any white, no nothing. Like the acne bump did not win today with this foundation. I mean, I honestly feel like all the claims of this foundation are really holding up. Now, who do I think this foundation will work best for? Number one, if you want full coverage and you don't mind a nice, soft, matte finish to your foundation, honey, child, this is the one for you, because I don't feel like this is a harsh matte, or like if I could say like a true matte, kind of suck the life out of your skin type of foundation. I believe that this foundation would work excellently really for all skin types, because if you do have a drier skin type, I feel like if you prep your skin well, this will work really nicely because this is giving more of like a skin-like natural finish versus a true matte finish. I feel like for once, a foundation that says Luminous Matte actually looks Luminous Matte with coverage. And in my opinion, I think it's really hard to formulate a foundation that has extremely full coverage and not suck all the hydration out of your skin because it's also so matte. Just like it's hard to create, in my opinion, a foundation that's extremely dewy that has a ton of coverage. It's, you know, you tend to not see that those combinations all in one. This one though, I feel is a really nice natural to like soft matte type of finish foundation that does not suck the life out of your face. Because at the end of the day, I was not looking like matte and dull and, you know, just one dimensional because the foundation looks so like dull and flat. So I do think that this could work for someone with drier skin if they prep their skin the way that it needs to be prepped. I could see normal skin loving this combination and oily skin. So for people who have oilier skin, I would say just go in with your mattifying primers. Of course, maybe bake a little bit in the areas of your face that do produce more oils. But I really do think this is one of those foundations that could really work for a nice plethora of skin types. And like I mentioned earlier, I do think we have a nice shade range here that a good amount of people could potentially find the shade that they're looking for in this formula. So I highly recommend this. 10 out of 10. Like, this is great. Like, honey. This might be, I'm looking at the foundations that are sitting up here that I've been loving this year. Whew. This one is coming out of the gate, like, ready to compete with everybody. That's all I'm gonna say. This is great. Definitely check it out. I'll have a link for this particular foundation in my description box down below. I always appreciate if any of you all do support my channel by shopping through my links. Everything that I'm wearing on my face will also be linked down below in the description box, so check that out as well. And if you have any questions that I did not answer in this review, leave those down in the comment section below, but tell me what you think. How do you think this held up? What are your thoughts on the foundation? Are you interested in purchasing this foundation? Leave that all down in the comment section below. And if you've made it to this point in the video and you have yet to subscribe to my channel, I would love for you to consider subscribing and joining the Glam Girl Squad. And guys, that is it. Thank you so much for watching, and I really hope to see you in my very next video. Bye, guys.